So, welcome back. We are on day 9. Man, we are just moving right along. Thank you for sticking it out with me with this Living with Purpose challenge as we learn to live with purpose as God created us. Now, again, we've been touching on what it means to live with purpose, going all the way back to helping us to create that foundation of being created by God, and that God has created us with a purpose, and that purpose is for us to do something, but we are in search of what that something is so we can have more meaning to our life and live a more fulfilled life. Now, last week we again touched on all these foundational things, and this week what we're doing is we're helping you to actively take steps so that you can live with purpose. Sometimes we think that as we are learning certain things, we have to wait until we gather all of our items and then we can move forward. But in this case, what you're learning is that you can actually do small things every single day to begin starting to live with purpose. Now, today we are on day 9, and day 9 really focuses on your time. So remember I talked about God gives us resources, and we talked about those resources being your gift, talents, and God-given abilities. And then we started touching a little bit on time and energy. Well, we're going to kind of dig a little bit deeper into time today. And so we need to understand how to steward the resources that God has given us so that we can be more productive in our life and have a more meaningful life as well. When we think about time, and the time that you're spending every day, what is taking up the most of your time? If you think about it, we definitely live in very hectic times, and our most precious commodity is and will always be time. Why? Because time is something that you cannot grow more of. You cannot create more time. So when it's gone, it's gone. You can go and you can make more money, but you cannot create more time. So once you use that time, whether you use it wisely or not, it's gone. You don't get it back. And so how often do you tell yourself that you can't do something because you don't have enough time? I mean, we all do it. Think about how many times in a day someone asked you to do something, or how many times in a week someone said, hey, can you? Or can you do this, or can you talk about this, or can you go here? And you'll say, no, I'm so busy. I don't have enough time to do these things. Or let's not think about the kids, right? As a woman, you have, for some of us that have children, which my kid is an adult now, but those that have little children, they're like, mommy, I need more. And you're like, I don't have time. I don't have time to do all these things. Or even just, do you have time to do the things that you want to do in your life? We want to live with purpose. We want to volunteer. We want to spend more quality time with family. We want to spend more quality time with friends. But sometimes it feels that there just isn't enough time to do it. Do you feel like that? Do you often say that? Do you complain about the time that you have or the time that you don't have, and then say, well, man, if there was more of me, then I can do it all? You couldn't. You know why? Because the cold hard truth is that there is plenty of time to get things done. This is where I think we depart as friends for a moment, because this is the truth that we don't want to hear. But we do. We have more time than we realize. It's just that we're not utilizing our time wisely. It's simply a matter of prioritizing what you spend your time on, and then cutting out some things that literally suck up your time. We all have them. We all have these time wasters in our lives. And some of these time wasters, of course, they're different from person to person, but the solution is the same for everybody. Basically, find out where you spend your time and then make educated decisions on what's important and what is not. It's basically taking time inventory. You need to take time inventory. One of the best tools that you can do to figure out how much time you're spending on anything, or just throughout your days, throughout your weeks, or what have you, is to use a time journal. This is where you can track your time inventory. And you don't have to go out and buy a fancy journal. It could be as simple as a notebook. It could be a stack of scrap paper. You can use Evernote. I love Evernote. But you can use that. It's on your phone. You can use notes on your phone, a spreadsheet, or what have you. But there's so many different devices and so many different tools and resources that you can use so that you can start tracking your time and taking inventory of where you're actually spending your time. You do the same thing with your money, so do the same thing with your time. You normally want to look at where every dollar, every cent went, but you don't spend that same effort, exhaust that same effort to take inventory and to manage your time. Well, once you start journaling down, once you spend time journaling, what you want to do is you want to write down what you're doing every 15 minutes. And I know it seems a lot, but just kind of bear with me, because I promise you this will be one of the best exercises you do so that you can figure out where your time is going. But you want to start writing down what you're doing every 15 minutes on that 15-minute increments, from the time you get up in the morning all the way until you go to sleep. If you feel like you don't have time to do this, this is more reason for you to do it, because you need to look at where you're actually spending your time. Because if you keep this up for about a week, you'll be able to see results of where things are going. You can review your time log, and this can be such an eye-opening experience, because you might just discover that you have spent a lot more time doing busy work, surfing the internet, or other little things than you realize. Whether it's social media, the internet, just being on the computer, going down rabbit holes on Pinterest. I said it, I did it. This is where you're spending a lot of your time. You might discover that you had no idea that you spent an average of, say, 4 hours a night watching TV, or 2 hours a day just commuting from work, because it just becomes part of our routine, so we don't realize it. But you have just been kind of exhausting that resource, and then you need more of it because you can't get done the things that you truly desire to get done. The whole point of this exercise is to recognize patterns of behavior of where you spend your time. And then while there are quite a few areas that, you really don't have a lot of control over, right? Which means you do have to show up for work or school or your business or whatever that is. You got to make time for, personal hygiene, and you definitely need to get some sleep. But everything that you're doing outside of that in a 24-hour period, how much time are you spending on items or not actually doing anything at all? There are quite a few hours in each day that we can fill however we like. We just have to realize that it actually exists. If you keep a time log for about a week or two, it's going to provide you with information that you need to be able to make educated and conscious choices about how you spend your time. This in turn is going to allow you to live more purposefully. And remember, we talked about purposeful is more intentional. So no matter what your goals are, no matter what your aspirations are, do this so that you can understand how to live more intentional. Sometimes you want to sleep in, right? We get those time periods where it's just like, you know what, I want to sleep in. I don't want to do anything. I want to play, spend a day reading. I want to play video games. I want to sit around and daydream. And that's okay. But right now, you're probably not doing any of those because you feel like you don't have time. Those things, they're a great way to unwind, distress, and recharge. But are you spending more time on leisure things and less time on productive things? Are you spending more time giving your time to someone else than you are working on yourself? Are you working so hard that you don't have time to be very active or have an active personal life or social life? The point is that when you become aware of how and where you're spending your time, you just have so much more control and can be more intentional about how you spend it. It's about being intentional, people. It's about being intentional. You only have 24 hours in a day. Where's your 24 hours going? And how many of those hours are you using to live with purpose? Or is your time coming and going like dust in the wind? This is something that you can do right now. It is an exercise that you can do. I highly recommend that you do this. Take some time inventory. See where you're spending your time. Do the 15 minutes from the 15-minute increments from the time you wake up until the time you go to bed. And don't have a heart attack when you see how much time you're wasting on things. But use that to motivate you to make the needed changes in your life so that you can begin to live with purpose. As you're doing this, I am curious to hear about your time inventory. So jump on over to social media and share. Go over to the Facebook page, Randolph.Shawanda on Facebook, or Randolph.Shawanda on Instagram, and definitely share how you're doing with your time inventory. If you need some additional motivation to help you with that, join our She Builds According to Her Faith group. And this way you can form a community that will cheer you on and support you as you're even doing the time inventory, and then help to encourage you to make the changes that you need to make, because we understand that change can be tough. But man, when you have that sisterhood going, where you have other women that definitely understand your journey, somewhat of your journey, they're there. They're there to encourage you so that you can accomplish those great and amazing things that are in your heart and in your spirit to do. Well, we are wrapped up day 9, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Do that time inventory. Let me know how it's going. Don't forget to like and subscribe the YouTube page so that you can get the notifications for the messages each and every day. And if you know someone else who definitely needs to take this journey, this challenge, it's not too late for them to do so. You might be on day 9, but they can still start off on day 1 and follow the videos each and every day. And then you also have something to talk about. Who knows? You might join She Builds together. All right. That's enough for today. I enjoyed my time with you. Hopefully this has been helpful. Have a blessed